Good morning, everyone. Hope I'm audible to all of you. Please put your input on your chat. Perfect. Perfect. So we are waiting for some more time to see that some people are still into the process of joining the meeting. We will start the meeting once webinar once we'll have the requisite number. So till the time I will talk about the core HRIR. And thank you so much everyone for joining this session webinar early morning on Saturday. We have Gaurav here who is joining here from Dubai. So hi Gaurav. We are just we'll talk about the core HRIR initially and then we'll move to the topic.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So many of you are already aware about what is core HRIR, but just to help you to understand that what we are and how we are doing, I'll share a little brief with help of the PPT that what is core HRIR and how we are helping. So this we are going to talk in this PPT. We'll talk about the how core HRIR has been formed and what all people behind it and how we are supporting and helping and creating learning thing to the core HRIR and the HR professional. So it's established in 2017 and right now we have 12,000 group members across the globe, I would say, and we have multiple chapters and almost Fortune 500 companies. People are part of this community. Vision is that to be a premier global HR network that shares, appreciate, and understand the evolving dynamics of HR. It is guided by leaders who akin to classical musician and our leaders enhance your professional life's harmony. So it's kind of networking community where a senior HR professionals support the budding HR professionals through sharing their knowledge. And today's session is in continuation with that only. So this is my team. You would say that I am leading it as in networking. Then Bhanu, who is head of lead digital. Praveen is head of engagement. Then Swarna is based out in UK. TCS she is leading strategy. APEC is headed by Kamal. Then lead events Anu. Lead networking Kirti. Lead rewards Jyoti and lead engagement Kassis. So we continue to do a lot of learning events where we call senior HR professionals to share their uh, knowledge with HR professionals. These are some of the initiatives that we have taken in past. So starting with learning weekends, Chai Buddy series, Core Connect, signing HR award, HR masterclass, Mega HR conclave. We are certified partner with certification preparation partner with HRCI and candid conversations, career centers, where we used to post a lot of jobs related to HR. So these are the activities that we are doing. Some of the glimpse that some of the member base that we have members from across all kind of organizations, and these are the glimpse that we had done in past. So this is the glimpse of charity series that we had done in past. Then we have HR think tanks, all the senior HR professionals you can see in the photographs. Then signing HR awards that we used to provide to the budding HR professionals, those who have done good work in HR arena. Mega HR conclave that we have done, a lot of master class. So I think it is going to be our 100 more than 100 HR master class and webinars that we have conducted in past. So this is some of the glimpse of those HR master class. Continuation to that HR learning weekend that we used to conduct. Then, as we mentioned that we are the authorized partner with HRCI. So these are the certification people those who have done through core HRI. So some of this is just a glimpse of all of them, and you are most welcome to join the core HRI community. And there is no fee for joining the community, and mm, you can join and learn. You can join the respective chapters. We have chapters as per the location, so you can join that. And so this is the hashtags where you will find us core HRIR. Wherever you will find, you will get the information about the community. Uh, Last, as a process, as we are the certification preparation provider, so from HRCI, so HRCI provide four different kind of certifications to the HR professional. So APHRI is for the people those who are entering into the HR. So like those who have just passing out from the HR. Then PHRI for the mid-level HR professional, SPHRI for senior level HR professional, and GPHR is recommended for the people those who are having more than two countries exposure or wish to have two country exposure. So that's all from the PPT standpoint and core HRIR introduction. Let me allow some people are waiting on log. Just give me a second. So now moving to the today's session, and the topic that we have kept is influence that earns agreement, not orders. Correct. So when we were discussing with Gaurav that what should be the topic that we should have, and one thing that we commonly while doing discussing having the discussion with the core team with core HRIR, one very common thing that we have found that what is the difference between a leaders, those who really do well in their career, and what is the difference between the the I would say manager, those who struggle, correct? And what is the common thing that we have identified during the discussion is that without authority, how you influence others, that make you successful into any career, even your career. So with this thought, we bring Gaurav here, and let me give you the background that what Gaurav has done till now. So Gaurav is a seasoned HR professional and having 2 decades of experience in leadership development, sense enablement, learning technology. He is expertise in designing, delivering leadership development programs, performance improvement initiative, and capability development. He established his own venture in 2013, naming K2B Learnings, and it is building on experiential and future-ready learning journeys for organization. So Welcome, Gaurav, and now I'll give and hand over to you. Definitely, I'll be interacting in between, but would love to understand little bit on the context part that how this topic that we have decided and now brought up here today. Over to you, Gaurav.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Veer. Thanks for such a warm introduction, and I truly appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I understand it's a weekend. It's a Saturday morning, and being sitting in in India, especially if you're in north part of the country, it's definitely not pretty early morning. So yeah, it's about what 10:30. So I'm really looking forward to spend some time and really want to learn. So whatever I've learned in HR has been through all my HR folks in so many years. uh, I'll share my PPT and I will try to see if we can make it engaging. I have kept some polls. The chat is open, so you can actually answer over there. So we'll try to make sure that how much engaging that we can make sure to do it. Uh, Let me know if you are able to share see my screen. I hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Uh, as we said that some of the leaders, especially when we talk about the HR leaders who run towards the upside of the ladder very fast versus those some of us who kept on doing a lot of work, hard work, and haven't been able to go up to that ladder. Is one of the differentiator has been how do you influence people efficiently and effectively, and that's where we talked about how to earn those agreements and not the orders, because I know the world is going through. I am sitting in Dubai, and we were having discussions with almost all sort of nationalities over here, and we were talking about what different kind the world is going through, different kind of anarchy. But still, while in our roles, it's very very important for us that being an HR, how do we earn the agreements and not go by the policies and all that? Yeah, policies are good, but then we should not be dictating the terms. We have to earn the policies or the process that we say, so that people adhere to it, willingly, right? Those are the learning outcomes that I've set for. We'll just try to make sure that I wrap it up. We will try to wrap it up by 12:30.
Sure, sure.
So we'll talk about the understanding the core principles, how do we build the credibility, and how can we practically use the influencing, and what are the approaches that we could do for the stakeholder priorities. So my first and foremost question that comes, when I start talking about the influencing, and since uh, not from an HR perspective, but what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of what is the source of power while you're sitting in an organization or any role that you're sitting into? The chat room is open. I would like to have some kind of a your thinking, and to just some of your inputs uh, in terms of what is your source of power while you're sitting into the organization.
I request people to use chat to give the prompt. Thank you, Anand. Nice to see you here.
Please just let me know when you see people responses, because
Yes,
I'm
yes,
not
people
able
are
to see
writing it.
those.
Okay. So Anand is writing comfort in getting work done. Rajinder Rawat is writing experience. Omveer Singh has written analytical approach. So these are the input that we are getting on the chat.
I could say analytical approach, experience, and there was
Comfort
one
in
more,
getting work done.
comfort in getting work done. I'm asking your source of power, your source of power.
Patience, networking. These are the input that is coming up. Rahul is
Okay.
writing collaboration. Dipanvita written influence and connect with the leadership team. Anant again written connecting with others. Krishan is saying influencing and listening. lot of input that we are getting. Just give me a moment.
Okay. So let's wait for another 10 seconds and then
Yeah.
we will just start about, when I say the source of power, what actually it means.
Quick learning, familiarity with the process, decentralized approach in working, Johi's writing, passion towards my work and trust by the management. Himanshu, authority vested in position. Rahul Gaur, trust. Satish is writing relationship. Tirupati is writing delegation. Ankit, confidence. Sumit Rastogi is business knowledge. Rajender is my competencies. Susweta is
So
data
we
driven approach. Yeah.
so we have got quite a good inputs, and
Yes.
this
Yes.
is gonna be interesting over here because there is a mixed kind of an answers, and then we have some of it over here. So the first source of power is generally a role power. You know, and those are the powers that you live within the organization. Those are role powers, whether you are the head of the HR, whether the HR executive, whether you are a sales manager, whether you are an operations person. So there is a role power
Yes,
that's
Gaurav. So one
largely.
of audience is matching with your answer. Himanshu is mentioned that authority vested in the position.
Yeah. So that's how I was seeing that, because when you were talking about it, so I understood that yes, there have been some. Yeah. So that's a one of the role power. Another is because some of people have written, the analytics and other kind of things, which is your expertise power. Yeah. Delegation, somebody has written because that was coming from the role power, because you delegate, right? But
Hmm.
those, some of them have written, actually talked about uh, their uh, their knowledge power and all that. That comes the expertise power, right? So the
Right.
first is definitely you have a role power. Second is your expertise power, and I can give you an example of a simple. All the lawyers or all the doctors, you do not question them, because they come from their expertise. For a matter of the fact, for the CEO, right? When you go, when you are looking at financer, you look at someone who is an expert in financials and all that, and when they something, you do not question them. So as to the role power, when the MD of the organization says that this has to be done, that's a role power that comes into the picture, right? Last but not the least is where some of the people have said networking and relationship and others is a third power. So largely, we use different set of powers, and I would say it over here. uh, there's nothing superior about any of the powers, and there's not even only any one power that is that will take us farther. So we need to use the different set of powers where we need to use it at the right set of places. Yeah, definitely, to become an expert, to have an expertise power, we need to do a lot of reading. We need to have a lot of knowledge in terms of our field, where we can talk about it. So so now when we have understood the sources of power, my other question which is going into it is, and I would like to talk about is, uh, uh, while we talk about influence, one of the thing, and I'm sure most of us in this room must be knowing about it, is a very simple thing. We must have heard about the circle of control and circle of concern, right?
Right.
So I generally talk about uh, whatever we do, and when we want to do in any organization, from a role perspective, we have certain things which we can do. However, most of the time we are sitting into the circle of concern. Why this is not happening? Why that is not happening? Oh, if this could have had happened, and that or not that. Now the thing is, if you see the white circle between the red and the blue is my area of influence. Now there is one circle of control which is I can do. That's in my area of control, and which I can only do. And there's a circle of concern which is I have no control onto it, and neither I have an influence onto it. Right? I can just be the on the concern. Right? What happens in the global policy? What happens? Thankfully, yesterday before the India US that happened, and it has now come down to 18% that I was reading it. But then if you're sitting on that what will happen, what Trump will do, it's just a simple of circle of concern because we can't do anything about it. You're not sitting over here being an Indian citizen, right? Right. So what can we do is this center point, which is my white part of it, which is the circle of influence we call it. And when we focus more, when we practice more, and when we have a better circle of influence, right, we are actually increasing our circle of control. Because the larger the kind of people, when we start practicing it, it helps us to take smaller control onto it. The only way you can actually increase your circle of control is only when you start influencing people. So you're not doing it, although it's a technical term. Circle of control is being said what you can do. However, when you get the work done by the people through influence, it also comes into a circle of control. So you're reducing your space between the circle of concern and the circle of control, and that's where we're talking about. So today, for the next 1.5 hour, I'm going to talk about what are the ways and means, how can you actually improve your influencing ways of working with people, how to get the work done. Because in today's time, one of the most difficult piece of job is to how to get the work done, how to get the proposals, how to get the projects to be approved quickly and on our terms, right? And if not on our terms, at least something which is in our favor. So, I was doing a lot of study on it, Veer, and there has been a very great statistics which has come up. So it says that HR impacts grows when we influence beyond our hierarchy, and the decisions happens in the business unit, not inside HR. And the leaders respond to tangible outcomes, not just HR activities. That's what it gives me a lot of pain when in any part of the world I go and people just say that HR doesn't do anything. HR plays such an important role, but it's just a matter of the fact, how do we get it done, right? uh, we influence drives the speed, adoption, and sustained change, which actually, if you would see the HR being a strategic partner, so everybody must be listening to this and they must be talking about it. The HR being the strategic partner, whether being his operations, finance, and sales. But you can only become a strategic partner if you have a better influence with them, else you remain just one more function within an organization where people just say, okay, what is the role of an HR? Is maybe they are just recruiting people. Our HR is, if we have to become a strategic partner, we must know how do we influence people effectively and efficiently. Uh, I would like to you to think on of a specific time when you tried to influence a stakeholder but faced challenges or didn't get the desired outcomes. You need not to write it over here in the chat window, but I'm sure if you have a notepad in terms on your laptop or in your a diary which is being opened, I'd like you to write it down, because what we're going to do is during this session we will be mapping our stakeholders, we will do our influencing styles and all that. So what I am looking at from my perspective, what I'm looking at, if I would be able to help you somehow maneuver those stakeholders. But before that, we have to think about those times when you were not able to influence that stakeholder and you didn't get the desired outcome. Uh, we thought of that, we will do a breakout kind of thing, but which is like not happening right now. So uh, what I want you to do is just think of this specific time and uh, who was the stakeholder, what did you try to do, and what happened in that scenario. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, uh, for right now. Write it down in your notepads. And if you have written it, just think about it. What made it hard? Was it a lack of credibility, relationship, or the business alignment? These are largely the three things that happen when your proposals are not being approved. I hope you have written it. I'm just moving forward. Now, this is a poll that we want to do, and I would like you to, you know, answer it in terms of where do you face the most resistance. There are some 5, 6 stakeholders group that we have kept over here. You can think from your perspective, where do you get the most resistance? First is the frontline managers. Second is the plant leadership or the operations, finance and strategy, sales and commercial, tech product R&D, or the executive team. When I say executive is the leadership team, so you can actually write A, B, C, D, E, F accordingly. Where do you face the most of the resistance? Uh, think through it in your role, in your organization, in your experience. Where have you uh, experienced the most resistance in the organization, being into the HR role? Please just let me know when we have good some 20, 30 kind of inputs, and if you could
Yes,
also help
yes.
me where the most of the answer coming.
Yes, Gaurav. And in such case, we can have the poll option we can use so that you will get the consolidated result also.
Yeah. So can you do the poll over here? I'm so sorry because we
No,
hadn't planned
no
it
problem.
like time. I'm so sorry.
We'll create a poll.
Let them answer it in the chat
Yeah, yeah. They
window.
are doing it. They are doing it. Yes. Most of people is saying B, and B is the highest, I believe.
Plant leadership.
Yes. Till now, we have very limited response, but yes, B is something that everybody is, most of the people, I would say, is saying. Some people are saying finance also, because we know HR and finance.
Yeah, they don't go hand in hand.
Yeah, so we can conclude like, B is the highest one, I
Be
would
the
say.
highest one. So
Yeah.
okay. So great. Thank you very much for giving your inputs. And if the B is not the option of yours, then just write it down in your a notepad somewhere. You can just put down plant leadership, sales and commercial. It's important that you map your stakeholder where you are actually getting the most resistance. If you wanted to do it in a sequential way from the um, top most resistance to the least that you can also do, it will help you while we'll make the strategy. So when we say, because the HR has to move from an policy enforcer to strategic influencer, because we are talking about HR being the strategic partner, right? Because if we largely look at if we're looking at HR into a from the old school thought process, it says that reactive to the business problems, compliance first mindset, use heavy HR jargons and push programs regardless of business readiness, and focuses on activities and completion rates. And those are the challenges. The other day, interestingly, I was sitting over here with one of the global GTM head of a software company, and we were just talking about the compliance training programs, and suddenly he opened his mobile phone and said, "See, Gaurav, I just got 4 more, which I need to finish, because the financial year is coming up, or the year is ending, so I have to finish those compliance modules and all that, and it's a mandate onto it." So we do understand that HR has to play as a role of getting things done, but parallelly, how do we move from a policy enforcer to strategic influencer? And that's where we are talking about being proactive, business first mindset, use simple outcome based language, and co-create the solutions tailored to operational realities, and focus on shared metrics. So that's where it will help us for more from a typical old school HR to HR strategic partner role that we are looking at. Again, we were just I was just doing an analysis of the recent India demographic in terms of those workforce, their engagement, and how it has been the situation. If you look at the employee engagement has been down from 2024 to 2025. Uh, the employee engagement has been like, and it's a good number of percentage. 5 point of the engagement down is like not a very good uh, picture, and 60% of the employees are actively planning to leave within 12 months. Uh, there is a feedback fear, hesitate to seek feedback due to fear of negative perception, and we have the autonomy paradox, which is high autonomy yet historically low engagement, which blocks the dialogue. We have been talking about in today's timelines where there is a lot of work is being done towards the employees' perspective. They are being given the autonomy, but you still see uh, there is a low engagement, and these are the numbers I have not picked up. These are the numbers which has been done by the various surveys. The Aon has been doing, ADP has been doing, NASCOM has been doing, and these are the India numbers. These are the India numbers, my dear friends, and we have to see where we can actually play a role. So from an authority based, where the team engagement is 10% and the employee retention is 40%, and a team productivity is just baseline, how can we move to the influence based where the team engagement goes 420% higher, and my employee retention goes to 79% from 40%, and my team productivity goes as better as 25%. So you are able to get the work done almost 25% more from an individual. And if I have a team of let's say 100, imagine you are just getting done 25 people more work done from 100 set of people. It's just pure how influence plays an important role. I'm not sure which metric would help you to move the needle in your business unit, but then you can think about it, whether the team engagement, employee retention, or the team productivity. It is your core area of concern at this time in your business unit. And the ROI, when we talk about influence based leadership, the average ROI return on every influence based leadership development is it's 1:7 ratio. uh, Productivity is again 1:to 4.53. Training impact is 250%, and the retention is 79% higher. uh, as I said again and again, these are the
Or,
Indian numbers. Yeah,
there is a
yeah,
question from Himanshu
yeah.
that can you please elaborate little more on the autonomy rate? I think it's a previous slide. Yeah.
Authority based, or the previous.
Autonomy rate,
Yeah,
autonomy paradox that 45% that has been decreased.
yeah. So what has happened, and I'm sure we must have realized that in last few years there is a lot of empowerment is being done to the employees and all that we are trying to do. People are able to work from home and all those, but still because there's no influencing and all that. We are still looking into from a there is a lot of authority dialogue is happening, which is still ensuring that people are not they are not taking the ownership and accountability. And I've been looking at it, very honestly, while I'm looking at the organization, most of the people, it's like they behave like walking on the eggshells. I hardly see a good amount of ownership and accountability where there is a largely authoritative dialogues are happening. There are various, and I work across industry verticals. I work with the international organizations. I work into the Middle East. We work in Africa. We work in Japan. Different set of clients that we have been working. But in most of the places, and that's what it is, while you are not taking them along, while the influencing is not happening, and we'll talk about the different, when we'll talk about the influencing style, you will get to know this autonomy paradox, because it's a lot of autocratic behavior which is happening. You are saying, okay, I'm giving you an autonomy, but still people are not being able to use because they are being questioned, right? So that's what is happening. Yeah. We're talking about the leadership effectiveness gap. 91% of the leaders state influencing without authority is critical for success. Manager overwhelm and collaboration gap signal authority alone is insufficient. India context, hierarchical norms, and fear of mistakes reduce dialogue. That is so much there. In India, nobody wants to, it's simple. Nobody wants to, bell the cat, and everybody's thinking, okay, if I'm being told, I'll just do it. Uh, and that's where in most of the organization we do not have the budgets to let them make mistakes. So there is a fear of, if I will make a mistakes, who will own it up? Yeah. So the biggest thing which is happening. Hierarchical norms and the fear of mistakes reduce the dialogue. Everybody wants to say, nobody wants to take the ownership, accountability, and responsibility. I'm sure you must have also seen this in various organizations. You worked in the organization, but also you have friends, and you must have seen it from outside. Also, you must have seen it.
Very true.
And 85% are rated competent, yet only 14% are truly influential. So your competency doesn't make you an influential, right? So that's the thing that we will be talking about today. Uh, Again, a quick poll that we want to do. Uh, in your experience, which challenge is the biggest? Low engagement, high turnover, fear-based culture, ineffective leadership, or the collaboration gaps?
Let me put over the poll. Just allow me a second, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
There are five options, Gaurav.
Yeah, five options. So you can just
Yeah,
write A, B, C, D, E.
I have written that. Can you put your vote to here, everyone? We have received four responses. However, we have 45 audience until right now.
That's again an insight.
Please use the vote option. Some people are writing in the chat, so I request you to please use the vote option. Don't write in the chat box so that we can collect the results in one go. Okay, some people are facing problem in the using the poll option.
I understand.
I believe A is the highest vote. Uh,
Low engagement.
yeah,
Okay. So earlier we were looking at one of the resistance that we are getting is from the plant, you know, uh, plant head in the operations, and the second is that we are getting the low engagement.
yeah.
Fine. Okay.
And the second highest is D. D. People are saying D is also ineffective
Ineffective leadership.
leadership. Yes, yes.
Interesting.
And the third is B and C is similar. 18% people are saying high turnover and fear-based culture. C and D is saying the Panvita
So,
input
so,
is.
so they're saying there are no collaboration gaps.
Hmm.
That's again an interesting insight.
Yes. Okay, we can move.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now, while we have talked about, we have set the context over here. Let's understand the common HR influencing challenges, and then we are just moving to those mapping the stakeholders. So one of the common HR influencing challenges are the decentralized power. Decision making is often informal or spread across business units, making it hard to identify the real power players. Timing mismatch. They are often engaged too late in the cycle. Data credibility gap. HR metrics often lack perceived rigor, uh, uh, or fail to connect to revenue efficiency uh, or risk. So that's the yeah change fatigue. Leaders face competing priorities and the cost center trap. Definitely, everyone talk about the cost center. Uh, the psychology of influences use human levers that drive business decisions, social proof, reciprocity, and the consistency. So I've been always talking about how do you influence and social proofs, reciprocity, and consistency are three major tools that helps you to influence uh, in your day-to-day life. Social proof, when we talk about, we can always say, okay, that's a standardization. These companies have been using it in our industry verticals, in our geographies. That's one of the social proof. Reciprocity is that when we give value for asking for more from the business or from the management or from the people. It's a reciprocity is a very simple method of the influencing. We largely always kept on looking at what are we getting it. Instead, if we start giving them value, they will be bound to give us back to saying that, okay, they help us over there, let me give them back, right? And consistency definitely tie request to status strategy in OKR. So is there has been a consistency? So that's also we need to look into it, because influencing requires a consistency. You cannot just do one of those things and then you say, oh, okay, today we will do this, tomorrow we'll do this. There has to be consistency. And that's why we talk about the three pillars of influence, which is the credibility, relationship, and the business alignments. So if you are credible, I'm sure you need to see that as an HR, am I competent enough? Do I know it? Do I know the policies? Do I know the law? Do I know what is happening globally? Do I know what other organizations are doing? uh, how well do I know the subject? And that's only the credibility. And you must have seen that the role of one of the role was to how does you get the power is through the role of expertise. The role of HR might give me some power, but the role of expertise gives me an credibility, because the person can see me that yes, I know in and out. I know the business, how you're doing it, right? And when I say how you're doing it, means I know the data behind it, not exactly the technical terms of it. And that's where the credibility comes into it. When you wanted to be on the table with the business, being a strategic business HR, you need to understand what are the challenges that they are going through. Whether it is a sales, whether it is operations, whether it's a procuring the material. Do I know those challenges? That's the first pillar of the influence. Am I credible? Does people see me as a credible person? Do they think that I could be trusted on my competence? Second is relationship. A lot of people talked about, while in the beginning we will talk about the power of, source of power. See, people wrote networking, people wrote relationship, but I want to know how many of us can be trusted. And I'm not posing you a question, but what I'm just saying is how many of us are being trusted by the business. And people say, oh yeah, I could be trusted. And there is a trust formula. I'm not sure if you ever tried before. Trust is very simple. Trust is equal to credibility plus reliability plus intimacy divided by your self orientation. You can actually have your trustworthiness score. But when you are building a relationship, in that relationship, is there an emotional intelligence and empathy? Are you giving value before asking? Because that's a typical behavior, in a relationship. We kept on looking, and while I have been working, in the organization and across industry verticals, across levels, in all the functions, the one simple question I generally ask people is, what are you giving? Are you always looking to take something? Are you willing to give something? Because the relationships are built only when you give it to someone, you know so that's a thought process, and that's where the relationships are built. When the business feel that I cannot trust HR, I would never be able to get
So,
on that
so
table.
Go,
Yeah.
Gaurav, this reminds me, when we started this core HRIR and the very simple question that we always ask, in initial any chai buddy meeting, that why you are here and what you can contribute to the community. So you are right that giving and taking is something that matter a lot, because you will just expect something, then may not work in today's time.
Yeah, absolutely. With all due respect, I have met all those people. I've met all those people in so many years. The leaders with whom I've learned is they had this knack of giving to people, not asking what you could do. They will just come forward, they will support you, they will help you, they will build you, they will give you knowledge, they will connect you for 10 people, they will give it to you before any time, over a period of time, they will come and say, okay, is there something, can you help me over here? That's what we are looking at. So relationships are built when you actually help someone, when you give them the value, right? And definitely there has to be credibility before you get into this. Yeah. And the last but not the least is the business alignment. Does this help me win? Because if I don't know what you're helping me with, but is it helping me to win? If not, I'm not sure. So those are the three large pillars from a, and I talk influence from a different perspectives. But when I look at from the HR perspective, very simple. Am I credible? Do I have the knowledge? And I've seen people growing up the ladder pretty fast because they know what they're talking about. They go out, they study, they learn, they talk to people, they do certifications, they spend time, they sit with the business, wanted to understand more about it. How do they go about it? And during that process of acquiring that knowledge, when they wanted to be credible, they are also building the relationship, saying, okay, tell me, what can I do for the business? How can I help you to succeed? What can we do to ensure that your business, your unit, your department, your function give the best of the results? How can I get the best of the person for you? And one of the challenge, we that I have been going and finding across, one of the thing is, especially one of the recruitment department, I can say it, I can talk about it, most of the HR leaders, have talked to me, and most of the business leaders talk to me. When we give a mandate to them, they kept on sending some profiles which even doesn't match my requirement. Huh? In terms of, have we discussed with the business, why do you need this person? And this is one of the most simplest thing I believe that could be done. There's a lot of HR recruitment firms, my friends have been running, and I've been talking to a lot of people. And when people come to me and saying that, Gaurav, it's not happening, I said, because you're not asking the right set of questions to the business. It's not aligning to their business. You're just picking up a CV from the market. You have not interviewed the person. You have not know how much the person has a depth or not. It's not going to add value, because then you will be just looked upon as like a one person who is just picking up the things from one side and sending it to the other side. You are not coming as a strategic HR person. Strategic HR person needs to understand the business alignment, whether linking initiatives to the KPI, speaking the language of risk and ROI, strategic fit with the goals. You know, I'm not sure if you have written your stakeholders or not, but there's a very simple tool that I'm going to give you. When you map your stakeholders with whom you are looking at, because there are different stakeholders with whom you deal day in day out, and we keep it on a matrix of X and Y. You can see on my screen where the Y is my influence and X is on my support level. Uh, you know, if if I am putting someone, I need to understand where they are, what are their influence to get this project done, what are their support level. They might have a high support, low influence. They could have a high influence, and high support, or a low influence and a high support. So depending on it, so if a person has a low support but a high influence, you need to monitor them. At same wise, if they have a high influence and a high support, you need to manage them closely. But those are who have a low influence and a low support, you need to keep them informed. And those who have a low influence but then high support, you need to keep them satisfied. That's typically how you do about when you manage your stakeholders. I'm not sure whom you have written over here, but then if I tell you an operations manager who has a high influence but a low support, can we put it over there just to monitor? You could just need to tell the person, okay, this is what we are doing. Because the person has a high influence, you have to keep them informed. When I say keep them informed, you need to keep them in check, because if they would say anything, your project could go haywire. Whatever you are proposing, a new business. CFO is anyways a high influence, high support, because all the money comes from there. You need support from them. So as a sales VP, definitely support, because they are the one who are bringing the business. I'm not saying that they have a low influence, but depending on your project, sometimes you are pitching something, they might have a high influence. They could be as placed as the where I've kept a CFO, but I've just plotted them from a simple mathematics. There is no exact situations, and these things keep on changing depending on what you want to do. And that's where you need to do the stakeholder profiling, interest in values, perceived risk. What are the next moves? What you wanted to push for? So if you wanted to do, for example, in sales training for the head of the sales team, and if the head of the sales is here, the person has to be in the high place, which is managed closely. because you need a high support from the person. He has a high influence or she has a high influence. Because if the person says no, this training doesn't meet value to me, your project is stalled. So that's why it is important that how do we put our stakeholders on this mapping canvas. Because if I do not know who are my stakeholders, how would I influence them? So important is we first map them, and then we make a strategy to influence them, because we should know my stakeholder is a CFO, the interest and values, what are the perceived risks, what is my next move. Oh, if it is a salesperson, what could be the interest and values, perceived risk? If it is an operations person, those kind of things that we need to take care of. Let's do now. If you have mapped your stakeholders, uh, let's do your influencing styles. I'm gonna on my screen. I'm gonna give you a link. Go on your uh, whatever mobile phone or a laptop that you are have logged into. Uh, Go to influence.learningpin.com, and when you go there, you will have to put your name, your email ID, and number. Ensure that you put a valid email ID, because your PIN code to go further will come only on your email ID. And once you log in, it gives you a questionnaire. You will get 24 odd set of questions. You have to choose one. So choose wisely. So you have to choose. You will be only able to choose one of the options. So for every questionnaire, there would be two options. Based on that, you have to choose one. So first and foremost, go to this link, put down your name, email ID, and mobile number. Ensure your email ID is the same where you can actually go and log in right now and take out the code. Once you have a PIN code, you input there, and then you come to the screen. You will have 24 set of questions. You have to choose between two of the options. What describes you best out of these two? For example, over here, I said I tend to ask other people for support, or I like to support my opinions with facts and logic. What describes you best? Choose that, keep doing next, and so is that you will have 24 odd set of questions. I think 5 to 7 minutes we can take for this activity.
Gaurav Kosambi is asking question on the chat. Can you now access the chat because you have stopped sharing your screen? No? You're on mute. Kosambi is saying, where do we need to put in the sign up detail?
No, that's a okay. I'm just writing it over here also.
Mhm.
What I've done is I have put the just give me a moment.
Yes, Simani, you can ask your question.
Start learning Panda. That's
Seems it's working slow, Gaurav, because I'm also trying, but it's
oh, is
taking a
it?
lot of time.
No, no, because it's I tried it like thrice in the morning and it was working absolutely fine. I don't know why.
No, it's working now. It's working. Is there any solution for it, Gaurav? People are saying that they do not have official email ID and they want to use personal email ID.
Okay. Just give me a moment. I'm just calling the support team.
Thank you so much. You have to do it on the given link. You have list.
I've asked the team to fix it. Let's say if we can do this.
Okay.
Is it like
So
everyone is facing
maybe
the
it
same
will
issue?
take some time. No,
Yeah.
not everyone. I think those people who have the access of their official email ID, they may be doing it, but some people are facing it. Those who do not have access of the official email ID.
Otherwise, saying that I'm not facing any issue. those who were facing the issue of you know in their official email ID, I think we have fixed it. Just see it again.
Thank you, Himani and Raj, and I think Kasambi also facing the same thing. Please try now.
Okay. If you have done and submitted, just be on that last screen. Don't close that window because I'm sure you would have got some scores. And if you were not able to do before due to the official email ID, just refresh the window before you submit the details again.
Gaurav, can you check the
Yeah. I think about 14 people have submitted till now, Veer. But 36 people.
okay?
So we'll just wait for another couple of minutes. If we'll see more submissions, fine, we'll just move on to our session.
Yes, you're
Now the number is 17. Matthew will talk about this all four.
So, Gaurav, we can start.
Yeah, because we have got good more than 22 odd numbers. Just going back to my PPT.
Right, right. People are waiting for the interpretation.
Uh, okay, so I see most of you must have submitted it. I got there. People were asking, what does it mean? So I'm sure you would have got something. This kind of a score must be on your screen, uh, which is directing, reasoning, collaborating, and visioning. Yeah. Now let's uh, understand more what directing, reasoning, collaborating, and visioning means. And I assume we don't have anyone at this time in our cohort who has 0 percentage on any of those four scores. Just do let me know if we find, because yeah, but I assume everyone has a score in all the four sections. So let's understand it. What are these four influencing styles? What does it mean? And how does it help me uh, as an HR person? How do I use it to influence others? Right. Now the thing is, the first and foremost is the directing. Okay. Now before I decipher the meaning of all this, and I tell you, uh, I'm sure some of you would have also got some equal scores as well. In a couple of uh, these sections, right? Maybe, and I saw someone having a reasoning and visioning on the same scores, uh, yeah, or maybe directing and uh, you know reasoning could be the same score, and then the one is higher, yeah. Uh, your primary style is what you have the highest score, so write it down somewhere in your notebook that whatever out of four is your primary score. Let's say if you're collaborating, let's say for over here it's a 25% or 29% is visioning, so visioning is my primary style. After that, what is my second score is my second style, where I go to, and I'll explain to you while I'm just talking about, while I'm deciphering the whole meaning of these all four styles. The first and foremost that we're going to be talking about the directive styles. Directives are those who are actually more have clarity, authority driven, process driven kind of people. Largely, if you find the head of a business, a CEO, a managing director, uh, somebody who is owning, who runs a business kind of a person, they are largely more directive in their roles because they are more authoritative. They have more clarity and assertive direction to persuade. Focus on what and when because they are more action oriented. They are more action oriented leaders, right? They want to do things. So if you are talking to someone who asks more what and when kind of questions, right? You need to go to them with a project plan and a roadmap. So anyone who asks you what and when questions, too many what and when questions, always go to them with a plan and how you wanted to go about it. Yeah, you can write it down. So these are the directing styles. So if you do a lot of what needs to be done and when need to be done, you are a directing style, right? And that's the kind of person that you will meet because you can't give a influencing style questionnaire to everyone you meet, right? The only way to do is you have to see how do they talk, what are their behaviors, because behavior tells a lot. Because you need not to have a pen paper kind of. When I do a lot of experiential workshops and when I see people behavior, I generally say, okay, this is who you are. I'm sure this is what describes you the best. And say, how do you know? It's because your behavior tells a lot about you. So the thing is, if you see someone who's an action-oriented leader, someone who gets into the getting things, okay, let's do this, let's get this done, and all that, you know, the person is a directing style. Someone who knows has the clarity, someone who has the authority, who is process oriented. If you have to go to them for a project, if you need to go to them for any approvals, you must have a project plan and roadmap in hand. If you will just go saying that I am thinking of doing something like this, and can we discuss about it? Believe me, you will not get any direction. You will be, not treated well because that's not they wanted to hear. For them, if you come to them for the project plan roadmap, they might listen to you. Yeah? And they will ask you this question when you will go and like, I have a plan. What needs to be done and when it needs to be done. And if you're not think through it, you better have to write it down and then go to them. These are the directing style people. Then comes my visioning. Visioning are those who have a purpose, possibility, inspiration. Visioners are the ones who 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 are the dreamers. They use purpose, future possibilities, right, and inspiration to when we talk about to persuade focuses on where and what could be. So all those people who are the innovators, they are the visionaries. They are not the ones who would love to or those who would like to be stay in this status quo. They are the big picture leaders. They are the ones the growth leaders. Yeah, they would like to have a conversation. They would like to tell you something which is you will say it looked like very absurd. How can it be possible? If you would have and I'm going to give you exactly how it looks like. If 30 years back, if you would have said that I would like to have a tool because we had those telephones at home, and most of us were using various connections, the one single connection, and then I had put four different places. Okay, if the phone rings here, I will pick it from there. If I'm in a kitchen, if I'm in a drawing room and a bedroom, one single line, but then yeah, different connections, right? But somebody would have come and said, I am looking for a device wherein you can actually carry a mobile, you can carry your phone with in your pocket. I would say, what absurd talk that you're doing. It's not possible. You need to have a line with it. It is tied with a wire. It only comes through it. I said, person is something off about the person. Because what is talking about or what she is talking about doesn't make sense. But then 3 or 5 years later, we saw that, yeah, people are carrying big, bulky phones. There were the keypads onto it. And towards 2005, 2006, somebody said, you know, I am thinking to bring a phone wherein you don't have to press those keyboards. It looks like a very shiny, glassy kind of a thing where you can just do it with a tap of your finger. You could do it. And I said, what nonsense you're talking about? And that was, ideally, if you would look at Nokia was the one who actually got this idea, the some of the engineers, which was kicked out. Nokia at that point of time on the top of the world. 3310, 3315 were the phones that we used to carry, and those E71, E72, those kind of, that was the world. And suddenly they were out from the market, and suddenly iPhone came. So you will find people around you, those who are the visionaries. They would like to talk about something that could be done new. There could be something inspirational. What are the future possibilities that we are talking about? There would be people in your organization who would say, hey, you know what, we are might be doing, let's say, 1 lakh number sale every month, and we would like to take it, 3 lakh. They will say where those numbers will come from. But the person has a vision. Or somebody who is sitting on a 15, 20,000 crore kind of a company, they say, I would like to take the company to 1 lakh crore. They're the one who wanted to go for the future possibilities. They're the one who wanted to grow. They wanted to see. But the numbers look very absurd because you will see, no, largely the growth happens 10, 12, 15% year on year. What you're talking about in next 4 years or 4 times, which is not possible. But those are the visionaries. These are the big picture leaders. They will talk about those bigger things, future possibilities. Right? They are the visionaries. Third are those are the who are the collaborators. They would like to participation, alignment, partnership. They would like to involve people around. They will ask you. They will not take decisions. In a simple terms, if you look at in your friend group, someone you go out, there will be some friends who would say when you're ordering something, you say, okay, order for me also. Everybody is eating this. I'll also eat the same. They are the collaborators. They know how to build their relationships. They would like to take everyone together. And there is a stark difference between collaborative and directive. Directives are the ones that will say, I know what I'm doing. The team has to do this because I know I can see the road forward. Whereas a collaborator would see, okay, let's ask everyone if this is making sense or not. It works amazingly when you have a cross-functional teams because you have to bring everyone on board. In a CFT team, if you get a directive and a collaborator, high directive, it becomes difficult to bring them on board because then someone has to give this what and when to those collaborative people. Collaborative people, although they come along easily, but then directives, if the directing person is not on board, they will not come easily because they want to know what are the roadmap, what are the project plan. Collaboratives are largely okay. We'll see what can be done about it. Let's first get a consensus about it. That's what collaborative is. Last but not the least are my friends who are from the reasoning, who needs evidence, metrics, and ROI. I'm sure you would have some of your friends who, when they go before shopping off their mobile phones or their cars or their houses or anything which is very expensive in the matter of the fact, they will go around, they will talk to people. What's the kind of quality of material the house is being, which steel is being put, which cement was being used on this, where from you procured this marble. Uh, they want the data. If you go to the finance department, they'll say, this need to be done. First and foremost, they are a process-oriented people. They will not flaw the process. They say, okay, you have to get it first signed it by the XYZ. And as per the policy, it is not that. Right? They want reasoning for everything. I don't see this is matching the same data. So for them, it is everything reasoning comes with the data, data, data. They cannot talk beyond data. And that's why there's 4 influencing styles. And that's why I was talking about mapping the stakeholders. Because if you have to influence a finance person, you need to have your data very handy. You just can't go to them saying that I want to do a project. And they will ask you, okay, how much money would you need for that? I don't know. We're still thinking about it. Maybe 10 lakh, maybe 15 lakh. We'll do something in around 15 lakh rupees. No, there is nothing. They need very concrete. How did you arrive on 15 lakh? What was the reasoning behind it? What was the model that you took? What was the calculation that you did? Now there was a number that again won't work. You would not get that project ahead. You have to give them the evidence.
There is a question.
Yeah.
From Madhura, that what if the first highest score is collaborative and next one is directing? What does it mean?
So okay, it works. For example, that's mine also. So how it works is that your primary style. So when you are in stress, your first way of working is collaborative. You will work with people. But if you will find the collaboration is not working, you will directly go to directing. You would not look for reasons. You will know. So if there would have been a person who is reasoning, the person would have tried to figure out data and then try to collaborate. However, if you are a collaborative and your second style is directive, and if you think and if you feel anywhere in the group the consensus are not happening, for example, you're doing, your second style will be directly to be entering into the, okay, let's do what need to be done and when need to be done. Okay, let's do this. We'll do this. You will make a project plan and do it. Simple. Yeah. And this influencing style is not fixed. Also, let me tell you, influencing style is what your work is all about, with whom that you go around, what you do. If I move any one of you from HR to the R&D division, maybe you will become more reasoning and visioning over a period of time. I've seen people coming to me saying that, oh, while I was doing in the other department, the other function, this was my style, but now it's been 2 years I've been here. Yeah, it has changed. Definitely, your influencing styles change. Your primary influencing styles change. However, that doesn't stop you from influencing others, because now you know how people talk and how people think. You just need to observe their behavior. You just need to see that how do they talk? What do they ask for? You make a great presentation and show it to the person and say, okay, but I don't see data in it. You feel like, I worked so hard over the weekend. But it's not the person doing it knowingly, because the person has that's how the person is. He or she just wanted to see where the data is coming from. You have just put a number against it. They say, okay, how did you arrive on this number? And if you don't have handy, the chances you would not get an approval on that project at that point of time, because they would like to see the whole metrics of it. How did you arrive on the data, on the number? Because that's how they are. Yeah. So it's very, very important for us to have a clarity on who am I, what is my primary style, what is my second style. Yeah.
One of very interesting question came in, Gaurav, that is there any perfect score for it?
No, there is no perfect score. Likewise, there are no
So
perfect people.
I
No.
remember my Hogan assessment. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. So there is no perfect. So there are no perfect human beings. Yeah. So likewise, there is no perfect human beings. There is no perfect style, and this is all styles are good styles. There is no bad styles over here. Yeah. So that's how the people are. And if any one of you wanted to know more
Yeah,
about
can I
people and
add?
all
Can I
that,
add, Gaurav?
yeah, please go ahead, Veer. I would love to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I think Supriya question is so Priya, it is because we are talking here the stakeholder management. So what Gaurav's idea is that if you able to identify, correct, that what kind of person that you are dealing with, correct, and if you go prepared, like the people with having the visioning skills or collaborative skills or reasoning skills or directive skills, influential style. So you will able to manage your stakeholder better. So that is the idea that we are talking here, correct. And just adding what Gaurav is also trying to highlight is that personality and behavior. There are two differences that we know. Personality that it is already developed of right now. It is but personality is being developed. And what is in your control is the behavior. Correct. So how you are, showcasing your behavior and controlling your behavior to the outside world. That is something in our hand. Correct. So being a collaborative leader or managing the influential, the style that we're discussing here is all about that how you, understand other people well so that you can manage them. So that is the context that we have to remember. So just this is my thought, Gaurav. I don't know it is in line with your
No, no, absolutely correct.
process or
Thanks.
not, but this is something that I want
No,
to.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. Thanks for adding it. No, no, you are bang on onto that. See, until unless we do not know the person and we are talking about, we can't give them we can't carry the influencing style with, questionnaire with us to talk to people. It's only we can observe people's behavior. And now we know there are the four different kind of influencing styles are there. I can mold myself because that's what I need to do. I need to be a good influencer. And I should know whether I need to bring the data or do I need to talk on visioning or do I need to talk about on the roadmaps and project plans? Yeah. So those are the things that we need to work on. And moving on to that's what says situational agility. So you depending on the situation, you will mold your style. And it comes over a period of time. It doesn't happen in a week or 10 days or a month.
Just give one more question. Yeah, Gaurav, one
Yeah.
more question came in, and Devika, trust me, I was also thinking the same thing that suppose if there is a stakeholder and I'll not be able to run this test on that person, so how I would know that uh, what is so the question is Devika question is Gaurav is that in case we are not able to observe what is the most common one. So again, difficult to answer, but Gaurav, please take up this.
So so there is no common with all due respect, the best way of doing it is in any, I have been working with various set of leaders and all that. My job has been always first observe the person, see how they talk, how they do. If I do not know, I will just call four different set of people to say, I want to work with this person. Can you just tell me more about him or her, how the person is? Do I need to carry some data with me? Or do you think I need to have a project plan? Or what is that? So it's very, very important when you have a key project to get an approval. Are you doing your homework? It's a very simple thing. And you are the one who is responsible for it. I know it's not easy to get hold of. For example, if you are someone who's only an HR manager and if it's a large organization and you're being given an opportunity to present a CFO, for example, and you have not been around with the person, you don't know how the person is, right? So what you need to do is maybe you need to do some homework. You need to go and speak with them, just chat with them unofficially, officially, figuring out, hey, I'm just working on it. Can you help me? Have you worked with this person before or not? How do I go about it? And I have, for example, most of the CFOs that I've met is the very reasoning and all that. Interestingly, we have a client and the CFO, or she is such a collaborative person. The other day we were laughing. I said, you're the only CFO that I've ever met who doesn't talk data to, you know, she's a very collaborative person, right? At the end of the day, she knows her job. She's very good at numbers and all that. But when she will start talking to you, and her behavior is very, very collaborative, right? So there are different set of people. So you have to do your homework very well if you think that you want to take a approval. If how critical that project is for you is all that important. Now we just try to put some people, for example, finance leader is a data driven, plant manager is more logical, sales VP is relational because they have to get the work done. The sales people are largely collaborative people because they will try to build relationships and all that. Tech lead is again logical. So we just I've just put some examples over here that might not be a definitive because the people, as I said, people at there are different set of people. If I would put a finance leader over here, whom I'm talking about, she would not fit in this role. No, she's very different, right? So accordingly, you have to put people on whether the person talked logical, whether the person is doing this. So those kind of tech lead could be someone who's a visionary, someone who wanted to just think about, okay, I have to make something. It could be a person, someone who's like not very visionary, but then yeah, you tell them they will do it. So they are more of the doers than the thinkers. So all set of people are there. So there's not one definite thing that okay, if it is an HR person, it has to be like this. If it is a salesperson, it has to be like this. There's no has to be in this world because every individual is unique globally. Yeah,
Yeah.
Veer,
So
would you
one
like to
one
add something?
question, yeah, yeah. So one question is coming from Omvir. I know Omvir. So may I know the improvement area on this score, please? So Omvir, just to help you to understand, Gaurav has done this exercise to know about your the leadership style and the way that we are to just to understand that how the score is coming up, but it is not about our improvement, but it is to understand that suppose somebody has to manage Ombir, correct? So Ombir should, how Ombir is about that this score is telling you, right? And in terms of improvement, definitely you can control your behavior, which can help you to to better on certain scores where your scores are low. But I don't know that this can be improved or not, but Gaurav can help into it.
So, okay, the two things of doing this inventory, to be honest. One is knowing who am I, because until unless you have not done your inventory, you do not know who am I. I keep on doing my inventory, and I will tell you a very simple example. It's not about do I need to improve. Okay, I'm very high collaborator and then directive. That's my second. At the same point of time, I'm bringing my vision up because I keep on thinking something, doing something new. At the same point of time, I have to keep my data handy. So I'm a founder of a company. I run 2 3 companies. I have to be on the edge. So I am working on myself. And when I am working on myself, my influencing styles kept on changing. And because, if I have to talk to someone where I have to have my data ready, I keep that. So, that's how I work. But if you will ask me who's Gaurav, Gaurav is collaborative and I will work. I mean, over here in Dubai, we keep on meeting people and all that. And most of the time it happens that if we are on a table on a out for a lunch table and all that, somebody's ordering. I said, just order it for me also. I'll not get into that. Yeah? But when it comes to my work area, I know what needs to be done, what needs to be done. So the tool is more to know who you are It's like looking at a mirror. Oh, now I know I'm high on collaboration, or maybe I'm high on vision, I'm high on reasoning, and all that. Right? But now you also know there are three different set of people as well, because world is not who you are. So there are four different people. There is a very interesting book. I'm sure Veer, you also must have read it. There is a book by Thomas Erickson, which is Surrounded by Idiots. It's on a desk model, but it's a
Right,
beautiful
right.
book. It's a beautiful book which tells you a lot, And I was reading, and I recommend so many people. So, being an HR, it's good to read that, because sometimes psychology could be too heavy to read. But having a book which helps you to understand people behavior in a simplistic manner makes your life so easy. And that's what the whole purpose of this inventory was, that telling that the four different influencing style, one doesn't work with everyone. You have to mold yourself to get the work done with people. With some people you need to talk softly, with some with you have to more aggressive, with some you have to give the timelines, with some you have to take their timelines, and hence it works like this. I hope I was able to answer Omvi's question.
Right. Yes, yes. I am just allowing him to speak because he has raised hand also. I cannot see right now, but he has raised earlier.
Thank you.
So Matthews is here.
Yeah,
Matthew, yeah, Omir, you can
yeah,
speak.
yeah. Hi, thank
Go
you so
ahead, go ahead,
much for
please.
the great insights which you have given. However, I have a point of view here. There is a book called I Am Okay, You Are Okay from the same writer. That's also a very beautiful book if somebody want to read on it. Secondly, when I know my inventory and I have different cross functions interactions, like as an HR leader, I need to interact with finance, some operation leaders. At the time of performance, I have to interact with sales leaders and maybe the operation leaders as well. So when I know my inventory, I can improve some of the behavior based on the role. If the second person is coming from the different role, what he or she can react for, I can just act, improve my behavior on it. This is what I want to add. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. Thanks, Omvi. Thank you very much.
Matthews, go ahead with your input.
Sir, one particular doubt. Now,
Yeah.
these are the various styles that every person will be having. But however, depending upon the situation, definitely one of the style we adopt. But for especially for HR leaders, almost all things that we'll have to balance across all the situations. That is what I feel, because with all the employees, we'll have to, I mean, really collaborate. Sometimes with certain people, we'll have to, play the reasoning style. Sometimes we'll have to sit with them, counsel them, and all that stuff. So, how do we develop these four styles going forward? Predominantly, one person will be having one particular style, but my only question is, how do we practice this?
Thanks, Matthew. Thanks for asking this question. Veer, would you like to add before I say something? Would you like to add something,
Yeah,
Veer?
so Matthew, yeah. So Matthew, in my view, uh, these styles, as I mentioned, are driven by the personality and behavior, correct? So definitely, all those things that is mentioned here is something that important for the HR role, correct? But by controlling your behavior, you can improve this. That I can say, Matthews, and also uh, mm, in the given situation, in terms of how we are managing the stakeholder. So here the context is more important in terms of the managing the stakeholders. And when I'm saying stakeholder, generally people think that it is about the any senior person only, but not your juniors, your peers. Those are also stakeholders.
Agree, sir. Agree.
So sometimes what happens when we so we have to understand what is keys, like in terms of these four different type of personalities that is given here. So if I know that this person will be influenced by reasoning, or this person will be influenced in the collaborative approach. For example, you are saying to somebody who is not an authority. I remember recent example in my team only. So the way that she communicated is directive, correct? But in that situation, or the person that I know is collaborative side. So she should have given the direction, or conversation relate in a collaborative way. Work had been done and in more effective way, correct? But he has used the directive approach. So that is where you have to understand the individual and then react, or you can say use this influencing style. And especially, Matthews, the context here is that the people, those who are not in your control. So if you remember that is the circle that Gaurav has highlighted. So how to increase your inner circle of trust. So that is the context here that we are discussing here.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Hope it helped. Yeah, thank you, Matthews. Happy to see you here. Yeah, Gaurav, please, over to you. Anybody have any other input, any other context that you want to share here? So you feel free to just raise your hand. I will allow you to unmute your mic. Just give me a second. Okay, so Gaurav is on the.
Yeah, sorry.
So yes, now Gaurav.
Yeah. So thanks, Veer, for adding that. And yeah, see, in a very simple thing, when people ask this question, and this question has been asked with me about 1,000 times, what do I do? So you need to make a conscious effort. If you really wanted to improve your collaborative style, directing, visioning, you have to make a conscious effort onto it. But that, my primary style under stress is this. Whatever my highest score is, my primary style when I'm under stress, and my second lowest, which is second highest score, is my, if that is not working, I'll come to my second score. It's like it's like how do you work. So are you a righty or a lefty? If being given, I will use my right hand, but if my right hand is tied up, I can use my left hand. Yeah. So those are the things. And people, there have been instances where you know uh, I'm sure, and you must have heard about, there are people who have lost their hands, and then there was some girl I was looking at, from her what she was able to make such a beautiful painting. Imagine. So those are the things. It's not that it's a hand is the only one that you can use. So how, what you would do, conscious, make an effort, and you practice onto it, and then you can work on it. So those are the things that we need to understand. I'm just giving some communication pitfalls to avoid when you're doing translate requests into business outcomes and clear KPIs. Lead with the problem statements and the cost of inaction. We talk a lot about ROI, which is return on investment. However, COI also has a bigger part, which is cost of inaction. So if you need to also, when you go back to the business, say, I know this is an ROI what we are looking at, which might be a lesser one, but there is a COI also, which is the cost of inaction. So if the action would not be taken, the losses would be more. Yeah, so you have to work on both the sides. Connect initiatives directly to company strategy. Ineffective don'ts are those overload stakeholders, pitch programs or activities without a clear business case, assume that compliance or policy is enough motivation for leaders. So try to be more with the align with people with the KPIs and those problem statements and those what all you can do, what you are trying to solve, rather just for the heck of it. We were just doing a quick analysis of why HR proposals get ignored as not tied to priority KPIs or the cost of inaction, like clear owners, use the HR first jargons instead of business first outcomes. So if you change from ask to a business reality, we need a new training program to improve culture. To how does this help me hit my quarter 3 revenue targets? You will be, you will easily get a budget approval and a project approval versus. So those are the things that need to be done over here. Uh, as in we need to see from their perspective. And that's what influencing is all about. You have to give, not take. As an HR person in my organization, how am I actually adding value to my business? That only brings me to the HR table, to the business table. Then only I become a strategic HR person. Else I remain only an HR person. You know. So these are some of those numbers that you can talk about, you can think about, you can choose any of the themes, whether you want to increase productivity, quality, retention, time to fill. And you can think of that, you wanted to do this. I wanted to increase the productivity. What if we do this and this will increase the productivity? What if we do this? It will create a more safer environment in my unit. It will reduce the number of defects. So because when you go for a training program, I've seen and we have now being asked, while Gaurav, what is the business outcome? And we generally talk about, so okay, if we do this, the number of defects would be lesser. And if there's a number of defects lesser, you will have more profits onto it. You need not to have to redo of the work and all that. You will have a better clients relationship because then client is not coming saying that, oh, you gave me 5 defective products and all that. So you need to make those kind of a thing. So think about what is your pain area where you would like to work, whether the retention or time to fill or productivity or quality safety. Just trying to bring it to your inside that you can pick any of those and then you can start working on it. And once you get a taste of the one success, you can move on to second, third, and then it becomes in your unconscious mind that, okay, I know now how to do it. But you have to initially for 6 months away in year, you have to make a complete conscious effort over here. I would say we need to launch a new employee engagement program to improve morale, to reduce unplanned turnover by 3 points in quarter 3. We want to schedule a 2-day leadership training workshop versus to cut rework by 10% via supervisor capability. You have to reword your words. It's very, very important because those people who are the business people, they wanted to hear a particular set of words. They're not looking at, okay, 2-day training workshop. And I've seen that's where in most of the uh, organizations, uh, the workshops are being cancelled at the last moment of time because the business doesn't see a value in that. 4 people have dropped out. Oh no, there is the client visit. Okay, not even the client visit. There is an audit happening. The audit must have been planned long back. Why these people were cut in this? Because the business doesn't feel value. They say, okay, what they will do in training, let them put in an audit or let them be put over here because they do not see the value coming out of the training program. And I'm just training is one of the areas that I'm talking about. There are 10,000 different places. I'm sure you must have seen a lot of places people do not participate because they do not see value in that. They do not see it as aligned with the business. So how we are projecting it makes a lot of difference. So now what you can think is, I'm giving you can actually uh, take one of your problem statements and from we need to, we will solve to achieve. And you have to add at least one hard metric. That's one of the formula that I'm going to give you. You can think about, look at what are the pain areas that you are trying to resolve or what you are doing. Is it indirectly resolving a pain area? Then rephrase those words because different set of people want to hear different set of words. That's a reframing worksheet. If you want, I will send this. I'll send this reframing worksheet, Veer, to you, and you can actually give it to people, uh,
Sure,
for their
sure,
reference
sure.
perspective. I'm quickly wrapping up because then we are
So
on
till the
towards
time, I
the
would like to take one question. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. So welcome to welcome. So there is a question from Koshambi, and her score is very close to each other. So I have given my view that it shows that you are a multiverse personality, and you have the high agility, correct? That maybe you can gel with any kind of people. So that is my interpretation, but maybe you can add.
It could be because see those who actually work with the cross-functional teams, there are people who work a lot in the cross-functional teams. If they are being able to deal with a different set of people with finance, R&D, operations, sales, and if they do it a lot, their scores would be pretty same on all the four aspects because they have been interacting with them and they've been learning and picking up with them. Their role has become like this, and they are able to maneuver with them because they're for longer part of their career they have been part of this into the cross-functional team, or their job makes them to deal with these 4 to 5 set of people on a daily basis, and they have to get the work with done with them. So they have learned that art of it. They have picked up smaller part of it, and they're absolutely fine onto it. There's nothing wrong about it. This is good. At the end of the day, we all are looking at those perfect scores. Yeah, but there is nothing perfect scores. We always say that there is nothing perfect because every individual is beautiful in that. Because if all the people will be same, like we have 5 different kind of, 4 different fingers and one thumb in our hand, if all become same, we won't be able to do the same amount of work. It will be difficult. So similarly, in every organization and every team, there has to be a different set of people. Likewise, cricket is a great example where there has to be a wicket keeper, there has to be a bowler, there has to be an all-rounder, there has to be a batter. So, and even in a bowling, if there has to be one who does spin, and spin, there are 4 different types. There is a fast, there is a medium fast, fast. So all those kind of things. The variety is which makes the best. Yeah. Let's quickly look at the AER model and the because EI plays a big role in influencing. Uh, I'm the resistance happen largely because that's what the pain area is: a rational, emotional, and political. And say it doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't serve my interest. Political when we use a word, but it says doesn't serve my interest. When I say it doesn't serve my interest from a business perspective, you know so the whole important part is I'm just going forward, and I would like you to focus on the AER model of the handling resistance is to acknowledge, explore, and the respond part. Is if there is a concern that has been raised, are you acknowledging it or not? Validating those emotions behind it. Don't judge, defend, or agree immediately. Think through it, and that's what a large part set of people do not acknowledge. When somebody say, I hear that this timelines worries you, you can talk about it and say, what is the reason why this is worrying you? What are you anticipating behind it? Is there any other things? Are you expecting more projects to come? Do you think the resources are not adequate? Those kind of things. So don't judge. That's where the emotions assumptions come into the picture. We always say ask questions because assumptions kill, right? So ask those set of questions, explore. Ask open-ended curiosity questions, surface hidden constraints, and listen for underlying values and fear, and then respond. So acknowledge, explore, and respond. AR is a model when you have to handle those resistance. Those difficult set of questions are being asked when you take your proposals out to the management, to the business, saying, okay, this is what we want to do. And they will say, don't just walk out saying, okay, I understand that you have raised a question. Let me understand it more behind it. What makes you think that this will not work? What are those challenges that we are anticipating? Are we anticipating new projects? Do you think that people are not capable enough? Do you think that we are not ready for those kind of budget? The company is investing somewhere else. You have to have those answers ready. Don't go with the assumption saying, oh, he or she doesn't like my presentation because my project was not valid or the data was. Ask those set of questions. That's why the open-ended questions, curiosity questions are very, very important in handling the resistance. And I'm sure I know that you have done coaching and all that, so you would understand more importance of those open-ended questions because that helps you a lot.
True, true. That gives you the reflection, no, that you get into the reflection process. So, Kosambe is requesting for this, checking for the actually the slides that we'll be able to share or not with the
Yeah,
audio
I will share.
details.
I'll share some content. We
Okay,
are just a couple of
perfect.
more
Thank you so
slides, and I
much.
think I'm submitting it because I know we are on the timeline. So moving from support role to strategic partner, that's a last piece of it. Start with the business problem, co-create solutions, communicate in business cadence, bring the outside in, deliver quick wins, and keep promise and close loops. So those are those things that enhance the influence. Those are the behaviors uh, that you need to start with the business problem rather than the HR perspective, and co-creating solutions. That's where your collaborative style come into the picture. Uh, Key promises, the credibility we did talk about. Deliver quick wins, and that's what uh, you know. There is one more style, no? Collaborative and directive style would like to have a quick wins. So those are the things that we need to keep that in mind. Uh, I'll also share this personal influence action plan. Uh, these are the takeaways of the session. The three pillars: style, speaking business, manage resistance, and build partnership. Uh, with this uh, takeaways part, I you can think of what you're gonna do from Monday onwards, because we always say it's great to have a session, but what we are taking ahead with us, what are the first thing that we'll start doing, because we can't do all together. So pick up one, and and then build on it. That's I would say. I'll share a, a reference document of this with Veer, so that every one of you can can uh, refer to it. And with this, I submit my session over here. Uh, you know,
Thank
this is
you.
my details. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Gaurav.
I'm
Thank you for your time. So I request audience, if you have any question, just raise your hand. I will, or any comments. I would love to hear comments also. So maybe Palvi and other people, those who I know already. So if you wish to add certain inputs, so it will help, us to make program better in future also. So that kind of comments or anything
Yeah.
that you want to clarify, so feel free to ask. We are over time, however, but thank you, Kosambi. Kosambi is saying thank you so much for insightful session. So we should thank Gaurav only, correct? Yes. Anybody have any question, anything before we conclude this session? Thank you, Devika. Thank you, Supriya. Thank you, Madhura. Thank you, Rahul. I think there is no question. People are just thanking us. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone. So Gaurav, I have learned so many things new today, and thank you for your time. And
Thank you.
two three things that I would like to highlight, especially I have noted down, is the credibility part that you talked about, which is very very important in three pillars that you highlighted. You also highlighted on adapting your style, correct? So don't use one approach. You should be flexible in doing the work that I have learned today. Then we talk about, I always say in my sessions also, that speak business, correct? It is not just HR part. When you go and talk in business language, that is something that can help. Four style of leadership that you have highlighted, and then how to identify, and then accordingly you put up your things. So that is something that I have learned today. Also, AER model, however, we have given less time on it, but still it is something that can be explored later also. And then lastly, you have highlighted on how to build partnerships. So thank you so much, Goro. You are on business trip, I know, and you are in Dubai right now, but still you completed your commitment that you have joined the session and helped us to learn things. Palvi is here, and then maybe you can add last point. Yeah, Palvi, go ahead. Palvi, I have allowed you the mic option. Just unmute yourself and then you can speak. Palvi, if you can hear me, so just unmute your mic from the control, from Teams control. You
Hi,
have to
hi,
unmute your mic.
Gaurav.
Yeah, go
Hi,
ahead.
Veer. Yeah, can
Hi,
you hear me
Palvi.
now?
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear.
yes.
Yeah, great. So thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, Veer. I think this session was much needed for me. I've been in touch with Gaurav, for Bharat, for Veer for long. And Veer knows that I have moved from HR to the entrepreneurship role. And I think this really helped me because my thinking process has changed. That how I have to shift my style to get the work done from the people. And so I think that this session really helped me a lot. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, Veer.
Thanks, Pallavi. Great, I was able to add value.
Thanks, Palvi. Yeah, Matthews.
Mistake, it got clicked.
Okay, thanks, Matthew.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. We can conclude this session here. Thank you so much once again, Gaurav, for your time. And looking forward to have more sessions
Yeah,
in future with on different topic. Correct?
yeah, sure. See you in Delhi next week.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Take care.
you.